Yeah, it's shocking.
It's shocking, and last year's was really nice.
It looks plastic.
You just ruined like all of Man United.
Behind the scenes here, we don't speak.
So we've got that and more coming up in the next few minutes as I sit down with Paddy for all of your Q&A questions, where you yet again start.
Yep, I start again. Aaron Akshia, 5 out of the 10 most paid players in the Premier League are from Man United. There is a good chance they will slip from the top 6 next season. No UCL, of course, next season, and they are chasing wonder kids from the English second tier in the market. Can you actually name a worse management than this?
You just ruined like all of Man United. I guess they're in a transitional phase, if that's the word to use.
Been there for a while now, though.
They've been there for a while for sure, and there's a lot to undo. I saw that David Moyes' original contract only ran out the other day.
It's not all bad news. Yeah.
But if United fans, certainly, if you're complaining about we've got 5 out of the 10 most expensive players in terms of wage, then why are you complaining about then going signing the cheaper players from the Championship?
It's a fair point.
You can't have both.
Yeah, it's a fair point. I think also the decisions that they're making rather than the money that they're spending is the problem.
Yeah.
Alexis Sanchez is probably the perfect example of paying someone absolutely not what he's worth given what he's actually given Man United. But just going back to the actual question, can you name a worse management than this? You can, of course, and it's Newcastle.
Yes, absolutely. They're not even buying anybody.
Yeah, no.
That's disgraceful. I really, I have a soft spot for Newcastle and letting Rafa Benitez go. Oof. Right, next up from Ahmed Arman says, which homecoming transfer will have more impact for the club?
Okay.
Hummels to Dortmund.
Yep.
Lampard to Chelsea.
Yep.
New manager.
It's fresh.
Neymar to Barcelona or Buffon to Juve?
I think it's probably going to be Neymar to Barcelona. It obviously comes at a massive price, and with a certain amount of baggage, there's probably a lot of Barcelona fans who are still pretty annoyed at the way that Neymar left in the first place, but that has more possibility, in my opinion, of changing the club's fortunes than the other ones. That being said, very curious to see how Lampard at Chelsea goes.
I'm also interested in what a big impact means. So for Neymar to Barcelona, it has to be Champions League winning.
Could be a negative impact
Could be a negative, actually.
Yeah, so
but for Lampard to Chelsea, it doesn't mean winning Champions League like it does Neymar to Barca.
Yep, fair enough. Yep.
So it's something a bit different. Cool. So whilst we're at it as well, guys, make sure you smash that subscribe button down below so you can see more of me and Paddy. I'm not sure if that's a good way of selling it, but we've also got loads more content coming up on Onefootball, so be massively appreciated if you do hit that subscribe button.
So I'm up next, and first of all, we haven't addressed it. Congratulations, not only did you sign one player for the first time for 517 days, you signed 2 in the same day.
I wasn't even counting, but that is a hell of a long time.
That's a long ass time since Lucas Moura and the deadline day of the winter transfer window in 2018.
What I found quite funny of the 2 is that if you break that massive drought of transfers with a big signing, and then someone else snipped in there quickly. It was like Ndombele would have been the perfect drought breaker, and then they're like, but there's an 18-year-old who we're sending back on loan.
Correct. Yeah.
No disrespect to Jack Clark.
It's the best Tottenham. It's the best way Tottenham could break a long transfer window. It's such a Spursy way to do it.
Thing to do.
Okay, question though: will Ndombele make a difference to the Tottenham? A difference in Tottenham, or do they need to sign Lo Celso also to improve the squad and I guess the midfield?
Yeah, Ndombele will make a massive difference. It's the replacement for Moussa Dembele, who was sold in January, which is really, really good that they've managed to identify and bring someone in, because at the time people were like, well, why don't you reinvest that 11 million we got? Who's going to bring in that's going to be better for 11 million? I think Ndombele will be a brilliant signing. I don't think he can do it all by himself. As for Lo Celso, he's a great player, so him coming in the squad would be beneficial. As for improving the whole squad, Ndombele is far more likely to have a bigger impact.
I mean, not that Ndombele was cheap, but Lo Celso, some of the figures they're banding around for him.
More than Ndombele.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus, Lo Celso will come in and be fantastic for competition. So he'd give Eriksen and Ali a kick up the arse. If we were to bring him in and then sell Eriksen, we'd be in the same position, where some players wouldn't have any competition. Not only would they get lazy and still get picked, but they'd also, as you found with Ali and Eriksen, play a phenomenal amount of games over the last 3 years.
Sure.
Upwards of 90% of Spurs' games.
There you go.
Which is, mental. Right, next up, D. Taki, who said, do you think Felix moved for too much money to Atletico, and could he have stayed another year at Benfica?
Probably yes to both, to be honest. I know it's the market. I know it's fantastic work again by Benfica, who, to be honest, I would put in charge of any house I was buying in terms of negotiation. They have proved themselves time and again for getting very good value for very good players, admittedly as well. But for his age, for the amount of senior football he's played, it's a lot of money.
I think it's mental.
It's a lot of money, and I think another year in the Portuguese league, we really would have seen Joao Felix for what he was and giving him the chance to develop a little bit more. Now he's straight in the deep end. Griezmann is going. All the hope of the whole supporters at Atleti now is pinned on this kid who will forever have 126 million euros on his back. And that's tough. That's super tough. So I think yes to both.
I know that that's just the way it goes, but I think it's crazy.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Also very quickly, I don't think he should have stayed another year at Benfica.
Okay.
What else is there to do? I mean, you've scored 15 as a kid. The Portuguese league, you've already won it. It's going to be you there or thereabouts next season. There's not much else to do. You might as well go on loan to somewhere.
Not much else to do. There's develop. I mean, he's still a teenager. There's Champions League football to play. There's plenty.
But he can go and play that Champions League football elsewhere at any other club.
I get that, but I think at least another season would have done him well, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on.
I hope he does well, though.
Yeah,
I do hope, honestly.
Me too. Gabriel Mayor, quickfire, rank the following new jerseys from 1 to 5.
New jerseys.
So hopefully you've done your homework and are up to date with all the latest fashions.
Yeah, I've seen
there.
all of them.
Yeah,
very quickly, Ndombele was released at Spurs with the old jersey because they still haven't released the new one.
So from 1 being obviously shit to 5 being a hit, Barca.
Ooh, 2.
Yeah, that's a fair call.
Not a fan of that
Croatia-inspired kit. Rakitic, just a good way to keep him at the club.
Yeah.
Juventus.
2. Not a fan of that pink stripe.
It's growing on me, but it's definitely not their strongest. PSG.
Oh, 1.
Yeah, it's shocking.
It's shocking, and last year's was really nice.
It looks plastic. How do you mess up a nice navy blue with some white and red trim? You've got all the ingredients you need to create a terrific kit, and what do we get? Honestly, it looks like I've done it on Microsoft Paint.
Yeah, it is. That is shocking.
Yeah. Spurs?
Again, so officially it hasn't been released. I have seen the kit. It's just a white kit. I don't know what else you expect from a home kit.
Yep.
I'm going to give it 3 because that just seems like the middle ground. It's not great, it's not shit, it's just a white shirt.
Liverpool?
Yes, very nice actually. Again, home red shirt, can't necessarily mess too much up.
Ask PSG that, but...
Yeah, true. A 3 as well.
Yeah,
it's
okay.
Nice.
And Bayern?
4. That's the one that's just inspired by the stadium with the little
exactly,
That's quite a cool style. Yeah.
In the right light. You're up.
I'm down for that. Right. Sartak Bhatia with the next one. Name a good 15 million euro player club should look to buy.
Well, there's actually one at Dortmund at the moment. So Rafael Guerrero looks like he's actually going to PSG for 15 million.
Wow.
Because he's in his last season of his contract. He's had some fantastic times at Dortmund, but also been injured and inconsistent at other periods. 15 million though for a player who can play left back, left wing, left midfielder, also sit inside in midfield as well. I think for 15 million, there's not too many better out there. Yeah, there's not too many better out there. If you can keep fit.
I don't know the specific prices, but I do know that talking of PSG as well, they did sign Pablo Sarabia from Sevilla for 18 million.
Yeah,
it's just a little bit
also decent value. Yeah.
23 goals and 17 assists last season.
Which is maybe PSG, maybe the way you should look at things. You know, look at what the bargains are out there to really actually improve the squad and not just go top heavy with all these big names.
Both of those two are like 8 times less.
Yeah, exactly.
Than
you
Neymar.
can get a lot of Rafael Guerrero for one Neymar.
I wonder if they knew that.
Yeah, I don't know. You're up. Oh no, I'm up.
You're up.
Sorry.
Cool.
In the future, this is actually completely pertinent, of course, because the Women's World Cup is getting towards its conclusion. Been a fantastic tournament too. In the future, do you see women's club football as popular as men's?
I don't see any reason why not.
I mean, we've seen some massive crowds, particularly in Spain, with some of the domestic league there. There's the potential, I think. For me, can I answer this, or I mean, I asked you?
No, go ahead. Yeah.
I think we've seen a big wave swell of support for the women's game because of this Women's World Cup. That being said, the crowds haven't always been spectacular, and it needs a sustained time in the limelight, in the media, on social media, etc., for that to become a fact.
This is my one sort of issue that I always bring up. I think the women's football, it's still football, so absolutely no reason why it can't. But when you look at the men's game, we're talking over 100 years of development, of interest, and it is a lot of family things, when the interest is passed down in households and through generations. And I just think that's something that you can't buy. You can't speed up that process in women's football.
It can be. You can stimulate it.
You can stimulate it, and it can be stimulated now better than it could 100 years ago.
100%, which is great.
With social media, which is great. It needs time. There's no reason, but you can't just say Man City men are this popular, so Man City women should be.
Correct.
It's taken some time.
You're up.
Cool. Next up from Zainab Chowan, thoughts on Mbappé moving to Liverpool?
So, just no real
thoughts. Too much about this.
No, actually, I've seen a little bit of talk about this on Twitter. It's basically, I think it was started through possibly a podcast of one of our good friends, Anfield Index, who I think hopefully you guys all know because they do fantastic stuff. Anyway, I think they just raised it as a bit of a fantasy pick at some point, and it got a little bit of traction, and people started talking about it on Twitter. But I don't think there's any smoke here, let alone any fire. Mbappé would be fantastic at Liverpool, but I don't have any thoughts on that actually becoming a reality.
I think he's a bit out of the price range as well.
Exactly. So next question, and it's a tough one actually, from Alfie Cass. Best player outside of Europe, as in playing his club football outside of Europe.
That's a tough one. I think the MLS has some good players, but I'm always drawn to say Ibrahimovic or Rooney.
There's much better quality.
I'm going to go with, and I haven't seen too much of him play at River Plate, but Ezekiel Palacios. Massive rumours linking him with Real Madrid. I'm not quite sure he might have already signed a deal with them.
Done a little bit of homework. I don't mind that. It's a bit surprising, actually.
Just a little bit. Yeah, Ezekiel Palacios.
Okay, cool. There's also that Everton, who's obviously playing with Brazil at the Copa America at the moment. I think 2 goals so far in the tournament. Has probably got a bit of an opportunity with Neymar out. He's meant to be one, I think he's at Grêmio, and he's meant to be one who's probably not long for that competition either.
Incidentally, I once saw Liverpool linked with him.
Oh, there you go, yeah.
And Liverpool signing Everton would just be the best social media.
Exactly.
I'm not even making that up, I genuinely saw that. Anyway, let us know yours though, the best player outside of Europe. But next up, moving to Israel Quintana. So do you think Quintana?
I would go with that, yeah.
I'm going Quintana.
Quintana?
Quintana? It's a cracking name anyway. Do you think it would be better at this point, after seeing this year's rendition of the Gold Cup and Copa America, to combine both of them into a bigger tournament with only teams from countries in the Americas?
It's a pretty good shout, because I think we can see also that the quality of both tournaments gets quite low at the early stage of the group stages. And then of course for the Copa America they have to invite these other teams, like this year it's Japan and Qatar. Australia are going to be in the next edition as well. And that just creates a little bit of a mockery of things, and I think it feels a much more native fit if you were to have Mexico, the US, playing against Ecuador, Argentina, Uruguay. It feels a bit more natural for me.
I would tend to agree on the quality, but it is quite a bit harsh to deny, like even Haiti in the semi-finals of the Gold Cup, to deny them the chance to get far in a tournament, but I agree on the quality.
But I think they'll be better off actually having a more competitive tournament in the long run anyway. And then it's up to Haiti if they want to actually get to a stage where, we saw Venezuela who, really batted outside their average.
Peru in the final.
Exactly, Peru in the final. So teams who are still not necessarily the ultimate of those regions are still getting opportunities to get through to the later stages of the tournament. So I think it actually would create a bit better dynamic there for both regions.
I will say as well, so next season, so they're reformatting Copa America, so it's going to be next season as well, in Argentina and Colombia. The other host was America, United States, for next year.
There you go, yeah.
So if they hosted it, would they have automatically got a spot?
Yeah, that makes sense. But also, of course,
they might have been in it.
Mexico have been in the Copa America many times as well. So it has happened, there's always been this, but I think actually officialising that is probably not necessarily a bad idea either. So to me, from Diz das Ananas, these, those, pineapples? Yep.
Yeah.
Do you think Bayern Munich lied about who they got safe? That's a quote from Uli Hoeneß, not a direct translation, of course. Because there's still no monster transfer made except for Lucas Hernandez. Sané, Dembele, Rodrigo, Dybala, De Ligt. So many rumours, but it seemed like everything broke down. So just a bit of background here for everything. So Hoeneß did come out and said, basically, you would be impressed, or our players are impressed by the players we've already got locked in. And I think apart from Lucas Hernandez and Pavard, of course, they locked away a long time ago, they haven't really made that big signing. You sense it's coming, but it hasn't eventuated with the security that Hoeneß has said.
I thought this involved Werner as well. But now it looks like he might stay at Leipzig and even go on a free.
Yep.
Do you think he lied? Maybe he had a bit of overconfidence about who he thought he could bring in.
Which is a Bayern Munich quality, of course. Yeah.
He may have had like one good phone call with De Ligt's agent and been like, I've got this in the bag, it's fine. Yeah. Turns out he doesn't. No. Looks like he might be heading to Juve. Yeah, I think it was probably overconfidence rather than lying.
That makes a bit of sense.
But I don't think Bayern would struggle to attract some big players.
Won't. There will still be at least one notable signing to come into that club before the season.
Sané looks to have died down, but Ousmane Dembele is the latest rumour. Apparently had a bid of 63 million rejected, an opening bid.
Yeah, well that makes a bit of sense given what Barca did actually pay for him only a year ago as well. So closer to 100.
Yeah, that's very true.
But I think we're going to see a little bit of this domino effect now with João Felix done, Griezmann potentially, now free, taking him to Barcelona. And there's Dembele, throw Neymar in that mix. One of the dominoes still has to fall, but then it could all just come tumbling down. Yeah.
Transfer merry-go-round keeps 100%. On spinning.
Yeah.
Right. So next one from Norwegian Alpha, who's started with I.
Okay, yeah, sure.
I. Yeah. So from 1 to 5, rate these transfers. I'm guessing on the likeliness of them happening. Okay. Trippier to Juventus.
1.5.
Yeah. Even that's generous. Yeah. Bruno Fernandes to the Premier League.
4.
Yeah. Dele Alli out of Spurs.
1.
Eriksen to Real Madrid.
2.
Yeah.
I think that ship has sailed.
I think so as well, yeah. De Gea away from United.
2.5. Halves okay, by the way.
Yeah. It's between 1 and 5, man. You got as many decimal places as you like. Yeah. They offered him a new deal, but I think he wants more.
Yeah, I think he wants to go to Spain.
Yeah, that's true. Pogba to Real. 2. Vinicius Junior on loan to Spurs. I would love that. This is a great idea.
0.
Yeah. That's not between 1 and 5, man. You know the rules. Yeah, I can't see that happening. Lukaku to Napoli.
2.
I think Inter Milan's the one.
The more logical one.
Yeah, more logical. Cool, that's it. Oh, you're on the final one.
And the last one from Thompson Tickum. Do you guys have a bromance?
Do we have a bromance?
It's only for show. Behind the scenes here, we don't speak. We've got separate change rooms because we've got change rooms. He likes red M&Ms. I like the blue ones. We don't speak.
Yeah. The green room is divided.
We're just very good at making it look like we do. No, we get along fine.
Very good actors, Yeah,
we get along fine.
Absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Not because he's my boss, just because we get along fine.
Just because I pay him to, I don't pay him, to be my friend.
Well, on that note.
Genital mutilation. Yeah.
So thanks for watching, guys. We'll end it there. Leave all of your thoughts in the comment section down below, including who is the best player outside of Europe and everything else that we have spoken about. Of course, look out for the community post every single Wednesday night where you can leave your question for next week's Q&A. But oh my God, so close to the end, Ryan. Thanks for watching.